Okay, great. Thank you, Commissioner, for joining us. And at the time is 2:01, and I'll get started right now. I think that we'll have perhaps others join us here shortly. At this time, I've got a gavel, and even though I'm remote, I'm here at the courthouse calling this meeting to order. And I would ask that we rise and actually, it doesn't say invocation, but we always do one. Let's do invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America and to our Texas flag.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this wonderful day. Thank you for all of the blessings that you have given us. Help to keep us all healthy and safe. Help us to fight off this new horrible COVID variant. Thank you for all the wonderful things you've done for us and given us. Continue to bless us. Continue to help us to remember that we are here to serve those that we are elected by and to serve you. In Jesus' name, we ask these things and pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. Pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, super. So today is July 14th, 2021. Commissioner Chesney and I are participating virtually. At this time, Commissioner Hernandez is present, as is Commissioner Modis. And I do certify that we have a quorum present. The time for the record is 2:03 p.m. and we are, as I said, both virtual and in person here at Nueces County Courthouse, 3rd floor, 901 North Leopard. At this time, I would ask, I know Tyner's not with us, but I think Belinda is in the courtroom. And is there any public comment at this time in the courtroom, Belinda, that I should recognize?
We're double checking right now, Judge.
Thank you. I will look and ask Connie to double check there's nobody online that needs to make a public comment. I don't see any at this time. If you are online, be sure and signal by raising your hand.
There's no one outside, Judge.
Call upon you. Okay, having no public comment, we'll move to our regular agenda items. And the first one, Commissioners, is discuss and consider adopting an order continuing the July 2021 flood event disaster declaration signed by myself, County Judge, on July 7th, 2021 pursuant to section 418.108B of the Texas Government Code. You all will remember that within 7 days, we gather again and we consider adopting the order to continue the flood event disaster. I do want to provide a little background, and I would ask, is Melissa Munguia in the room?
Yes, she is, Judge. She's coming to the podium.
Okay, I'm gonna have her come to the podium, talk a little bit about it. I'll let you guys ask some questions, and then I'll entertain a motion to adopt this order. Hi, Melissa. Would you give the court some background and, of course, what our position is in emergency management with regards to the continuing work that we're doing in the rural counties, in the rural part of the county with regards to our flood event?
Yes, good afternoon, Judge and Commissioners. So like the May floods, we experienced the same kind of flooding event in July. The declaration was signed. The importance of signing this, extending this, is that we're still in recovery phase for this. We're in kind of a hybrid of recovery and response. And so we aren't sure what's going to happen with this disaster. We're still not even sure what's going to happen with the May floods. And there's still potential to have another type of flood event that could cause a 2015 situation where they put them all together and do a federal disaster declaration. So it's important for us to have the declaration in place in case a decision like that is made. We want to already have ours in place. So extending is incredibly important. Also, because we had both the May floods and the July floods, our teams are still supporting the jurisdictions within Nueces County that suffered from flooding. You're very aware of some of our very vulnerable areas. the Blue Bonnet neighborhood, Tierra Grande, all of those areas, the lower Nueces River, all experience flooding. And we know when we have the water inundation, we have road damage, we have culvert damage, we have costs that go into the response of that. And we don't have total numbers for May and for July. We're still getting the data in from the public and also from our own people as well. And so this disaster didn't just come and go, it's still here. And so we have to have a declaration in place that protects us as we are still spending money in response of.
Thank you, Melissa. I just spoke with Mayor Gomez this morning. Melissa hosted on behalf of myself and the city of Corpus Christi was also included. We had our top business leaders luncheon today on hurricane preparedness. And we actually got a chance to visit with the mayor of Robstown and he has some serious concerns in certain areas still as we expect more rain next week. There's going to be some equipment that most likely we will need to order and in order to clean some of these ditches to allow for some water flow. These areas are in our Nueces County jurisdiction. Half of it, I would say, and the other half is in the city of Robstown's jurisdiction. What's fascinating is that it's not in the jurisdiction of DD2. So, but we've got great mutual aid agreements and a lot of opportunities to work together to solve some of these vegetation and culvert problems where they are blocking the flow of water. At any rate, I would like to ask at this time if you have any, if I could get a motion to adopt the order so that we can continue our resources to these jurisdictions and also call for discussion so that you can ask any questions of Melissa at this time.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Anybody have any questions for Melissa? Okay, thank you. Just kind of new
Hold on,
stuff,
Judge.
as they say. I wanted to share with you that Melissa opened up a hotline for us. I believe that number is 888-0111. And that's a number that we're going to try to keep if we can. I like that number. It's easy to remember. And we also opened up a portal online. Melissa, will you talk about that and how commissioners can talk to their residents about getting us pictures and information?
Yes, so this is going to be the website that individuals would go to file for that individual assistance. Again, we're not federally declared on this, but it is still open and residents have access. And so this is great for them to be able to get on there and actually start doing that. If it does become or clump together, or the multiple events become federally declared, they'll have done a lot of the footwork already. And it also encourages them to start documenting, taking photographs, saving invoices if they have made any purchases, the cost of any kind of repairs that they've done. So this can be accessed through the disasterassistance.gov website, but they also have posted this on TDM's website. And so it's going to be, TDM. So it's www.tdm.texas.dps.com. So tdm.texas.dps.com.
Okay. Thank you, Melissa.
Excuse me,
Melissa,
Melissa.
did you say there was a question in the room?
Yes.
Yes, I have a
Go
question.
ahead.
You talked about purchasing some heavy equipment. What kind of equipment are you talking about?
So the purchases, most of the purchases that we've made for our flood event are water pumps. That's the main kind of needed resource that we've experienced so far in these two flood events. So in anticipation of having an additional possible rain event, we want to make sure that all of the locations that are currently needing one or needed one either in May or in July, that they have access to one, but we also have additional ones. We did have to make purchase of water pumps for coastal parks. They were completely inundated with water, and it was critical to get that water pumped before we had any issues with sewage. So knowing that is that number one resource, that number one needed resource, we can already anticipate the need if we have a third event.
So how many pumps does Coastal Park actually have, or do you have?
So there was a purchase of two. So Coastal Parks owns those two pumps now. We have also made the purchases previously, 2, and then I believe 3 before that for the May and the July floods.
Okay. And you said they were pumping out, I guess, residents that have septic tanks and their sewage?
So it's not for pumping the sewage, it's just for pumping the water that's standing. That's what's gonna cause some of the issues with those lift stations or those sewer systems. So it's about pumping that standing water. It's pumping
Okay.
the water out into a different area, which in some areas we're limited. We're not able to, you're just pumping water into water. But there are some neighborhoods and areas where this is a very helpful resource.
Yeah, I understand it. I just wanted to make sure for health reasons we weren't pumping the other stuff.
No, we're just trying to prevent that kind of stuff from getting loose.
All right. And one more thing, what about machineries to trim down, to help clean the drainage ditches?
So I know that Public Works has some equipment that is capable of doing that, and those were purchases that would have been made in conjunction with hurricanes, as part of that emergency protective measures and debris removal, resources that we need as a community, and of course, we also contract if the debris removal is a heavier job. I don't know exactly, I know we have wood chippers, there's
Yeah.
different categories of these items, but we do own them as Nueces County, I just don't have a number for each
Yeah, I've been
type.
talking to Juan Pimentel, and he's been advising me of what we got so far and what we need.
Yes,
So
and they engaged in the use of those resources after the May floods, to quickly clean up some of those ditches and those culverts that were jammed up by debris.
I just want to make sure after all this is done, and if Public Works is in need of having this machinery, we, try and do the best we can to get them.
Of course, and we've been, talking in court about the importance of kind of building up that reserve, right?
Exactly.
These are the same, it's not just water, it's not just MREs, it's also these types of equipment
Exactly.
needs. You need them urgently, but they're not something that you can always get very quickly. So each time we have a disaster, if we make these purchases, we just know we have more resources for the next disaster.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
I have a question. Please, I just want to kind of update you a little bit. On the standing water, of course, some of the water's already got the bacteria in there, so, because of the backflow of the septics, right? So is that water going to a different area, you said?
So we have a process in place for identifying whether water should be pumped from one area to another. We're not gonna be moving or pumping water that's contaminated unless it's for saving lives. And so I haven't had any reports of major septic backflows or anything like that, not to my office. And if that was the big concern with coastal parks, which is why that became an immediate priority. Because we didn't want the lift stations to backflow, and that's incredibly important, and it would come to the top of our priority list. I wasn't made aware of any areas of concern that were having backflow or contaminated water from septic or sewage. But if you get a report of that nature,
Well,
please
that's gonna
reach
be-
out to me,
That's gonna be a big problem in the rural areas, in the colonial areas.
especially if we keep getting more rain.
Right, so that's really gonna be a problem. And I think on the pumps, I also met with, Mr. Pimentel, and I think that, I don't mind using some of my money to buy one for my precinct, but I think in 2 weeks I can let y'all know, we're gonna go look at some at their surplus to see if we can get 3 or 4 of them at a very good price. So we can get those, we'll be, instead of, have had some extra ones for the county, because we're gonna need more than one pump sometimes in some areas. So, I'll let you know, see what happens in a couple of weeks, see if the surplus has, those pumps or not.
And that's fantastic. Anytime that we can do that to increase our resources, it's great, because it also increases our ability to assist our partners. Robstown has their own emergency management program, but we assist as much as we can. But sometimes when Nueces County areas need water pumps, we might not be able to lend that resource. And so making sure that we have enough not only to help ourselves, but to help our partners is fantastic.
Yeah, we know right now they have 3, but we need to look at them first to see if they're, what conditions they are, then what needs to be fixed. Better to fix them than have to buy new ones.
Sure, and getting just with the right people
Sure.
to assess whether that piece of equipment
Yep.
is what is needed
Right.
and that it's purchased appropriately and anything that we can get that improves the resources and our response capability
Sure.
is a good thing.
I don't have a problem putting in money to help Public Works get the machineries they need, like pumps. Juan also reached out to me, and told them I would, look into my budget. And I also want to give thanks to Drainage District Number 2. They've called and they offered their help. So we're going to take advantage of that. And I just want to let them know, thank you very much. Okay, because that's what it's going to take, people working together.
Yep, that's what it is about. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I will call the vote then to consider adopting this order pursuant to section 418.108B. And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Hold on, Judge. Is there a
Aye.
time, is there a timeline for this one, Judge? It's kind of open thing? Is it gonna be a timeline, like, we're gonna approve it today? Is there a timeline where up to a certain time, or no?
So all of these disasters that we're under after we make this adoption, they exist until there's no more further a need in the future. So there's no timeline until the disaster is formally considered, recovered.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
And I mean, our hope is the state will combine the May and the July flooding events so that we can possibly get, some assistance in the recovery of some of these costs for all the jurisdictions. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna, for the clerk, who I can't see, did you guys get that on the, I don't know, I was about to say opposed, same sign, but if you guys are good to go, can I just hear a good to go? All right,
Good to
thank you. So we'll move on then to our, item number 2 is an item we're gonna take up in executive session. So I'll move to B1. And B1 is the ratification, the acceptance of a grant award from the United States Department of the Treasury for the Emergency Rental Assistance ERA2 program. Maria is here to talk to us about ERA2. Commissioners, this is going to be a 2-step process. The first, let's let Maria talk to us about ERA2, and then I'll take a motion to accept this grant award, and then we'll move into the administration of ERAP1 and ERAP2. And you might think to yourself, didn't we just do this? You would be absolutely right. Last Wednesday, we did tackle this administration, but we have updated information. And Maria is here to present that to us so that we can get the admin piece of it correct for both 1 and 2. Maria, let's talk about the acceptance of the grant award first.
Sure. So good afternoon. Let's get the easy part out of the way first. We're accepting the deposit that was received back on June 23rd. The court had already approved the submission of the application. It's kind of strange because the application is the terms and conditions of the grant award. So it's kind of already been done already. But to clear the record, let's make sure that we ratify the acceptance of the funds that were deposited on June 21st. This is a little different from ERA1. ERA1, we received 100% of the funds up front. ERA2, we received 40% of the allocation into the county's bank account. So with that, we recommend, ratifying the acceptance of the grant award.
Would it be ratifying, or would it be just update, supplement?
I mean, the funds were deposited, after we had executed those terms and conditions. So I just kind of worded it ratifying the acceptance of the grant award just because it had already occurred.
I don't know, is that the right word to use or not? Maybe the county attorney can tell us.
So I can't hear Commissioner
Maybe
Gonzalez.
that, I don't know if that's the right word to use, ratify, or to supplement, or do an addendum or
It's an
something?
acceptance. It's an acceptance of the grant is the way it's worded on the agenda.
Acceptance?
So that's what we're gonna ask for, a motion to actually accept the grant, even though the money has already been deposited.
Okay,
And the court authorized the submittal of the money. I'm sorry, the submittal of the grant, which would get us the money. But it's just a formality, but we do want to make sure that we, the reason the words ratify are there is because it's sitting in our bank account.
Because it
So
already
we're
happened.
ratifying that we've accepted it,
Well, I
okay?
move-
It's
I move
more of
the-
a
I move the
ratification of
acceptance
an
the
act.
grant. I move the acceptance of the grant money.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Okay, now let's talk about the administration of 1 and 2. Maria, let's go back in time, remind the court what we did on Wednesday of last week, then fast forward to what you're asking for today and what we're also prepared to unveil to the court as far as Haggerty's, kind of outline of their work. And then let's let the court ask questions after you complete those tasks. Go ahead.
Sure. So, last court, we talked about how, obviously ERAP, there's two, tranches of money. We've already talked about that. There's ERA 1 and ERA 2. And we talked the last court about how Haggerty was gonna help us administer that. There was a little bit of confusion. I was not able to talk to the judge prior to, meeting, and then there was a little bit of miscommunication, with, city staff. The judge had been in direct contact with the city manager. The city manager unfortunately did not disseminate that information down to Jennifer Buxton, who was my point of contact with the city of Corpus Christi. She's running the ERAP program for the city. So there was a little bit of confusion. Haggerty's original, there was actually miscommunication with Haggerty as well. Their original work authorization that we talked about last court was had to be amended. So the original task order for 56,000 that was discussed last court was had to be amended because that was if Haggerty were to establish the program for us and then the county would take over the administration. That work order has now been amended so that again, we had talked about partnering with the city. We now have confirmation from all parties, my counterpart at the city, and from the city manager's office that we will be working together as far as the website and the phone number goes. So there is a phone number set up. It will be for countywide. The website is Nueces, nuecescountyerap.com. That will be launched live. Again, so their work authorization had to be updated. They are really going to administer the program. So when I say that, that is correct. There will be some minor participation on the behalf of the county. Their work authorization, again, last time we had mentioned it was gonna be 56,000. I will say that has increased to 193,000. The county has a total administrative allowance of about 235,000. So that does leave the county about 42,000, a little over 42,000 remaining for other expenses that we will need to take care of the tasks that are required on our end. The system, the way it's working is the system costs for the website, the call center, and they're actually gonna have an in-person location for certain days of the week. Those system costs were built into their time and materials hourly rate. So the county will be billed out based on the number of applications received and the time spent on those applications. So again, if the city if Corpus Christi residents, there's 300 that apply there and 100 apply for Nueces County, we're only gonna be billed for that 100 residents and those applications that are being processed. The responsibilities of the county right now will be obviously monthly reporting. I've already been doing those, since we haven't launched the program, those reports have been 0. We will continue to do the monthly reporting. The county will handle the billing, so it was recommended by Haggerty that we could download. There's a file that's on the website. It's a pretty robust website, and that we get a lot of information on the back end. So we can download basically a CSV file, and then we would process the payments to the vendors, the tenants, the landlords, just as we would any other purchase order. I think
Maria,
go ahead.
let me throw in some things that I need the commissioners to maybe write some, and we're gonna get them all of this information, but basically the applicant portal is www.nuecescountyerap.com. So we're gonna be able to have a button on our website and this link will take you to the portal. What's important for you to know is that we're gonna be providing to you as commissioners, not only a press release that will outline everything, but we have a summary of the program. But it's important to note that you can go back in arrears and forward. It can be a combination of rental assistance up to 15 months total. In addition, and this is a big one, it also will cover utility and home energy cost. And as Maria pointed out yesterday in one of our calls that she believes this will be the area that we'll see a lot of Nueces County residents trying to get some help. This includes electricity, natural gas, propane, water, sewer, trash removal, and any other kind of fuel costs that might be related to energy. We are going to handle the billing piece. That means the checks come from Nueces County. But almost everything else will be handled together with the city, and we're going to pay our pro rata share. And now that we have ERAP 2, our total combined money to give away is $1.6 million, and that's less the $270,000 or $240,000 that Maria has told you is available for admin. We do have a plan to make sure that we have public messaging and individuals to help us in our community centers. And we want to make sure that, there's adequate messaging so that people know they can really get help immediately. With the eviction moratorium coming to an end on July 31st, people are going to start needing help immediately. This portal is actually live right now, but we're going to do a full launch and press conference on Friday. That's our goal. And like I said, we have a very nice document to give to you. But the most important thing is that last week, the disconnect was that Maria did not have evidence that the city had agreed to work with us so that we can be on all one portal. And therefore, the project that was put before you was we do all the work. Now we're going to join with the city. We're going to pay our pro rata share. We have plenty of money inside ERAP, and it's going to be one big fat portal, which is so great because it means any caller will get the help that they need. And by utilizing one number, and also the central library is the location that will be utilized, which is really just across the street here from us. And that'll be our in-town Corpus Christi location. But our hope is that from Port Aransas all the way out to the rural communities, we will use our community centers and library systems to make certain that there's people there on certain days of the week that we identify that will be there to help people navigate the system. But it should be as easy as a click of a button, in the sense of it should be a phone number that you call. And then we do have it in English and we have in Spanish. And so we think that this is important. So this is before you because we need to get the right admin piece together so that we can truly start messaging as early as Friday, the phone numbers to call. And we want to get you guys involved so that you can do your social media messaging on top of what we will do from the county.
So Haggerty's already shared, obviously a draft press release, and they've shared some marketing materials that we do need to review, just for accuracy, and to make sure it is tailored to Nueces County. There will also be, some marketing materials that they'll share that, you'll be able to share on your social media pages, flyers that you can put up in your community centers, and other outreach materials like that. Again, they just sent them late yesterday afternoon, so we're reviewing them. I do have the brief for them, Judge. I don't know if you want them to have that right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Absolutely. Go ahead and give them that brief. And
So-
then I'm looking over actually the draft right now. The minute we finish with this, we'll give them the draft press release as well. But the most important thing is this is probably one of the most important programs. If we want to get our economy healthy again, we got to make sure people aren't worried about where they're living. And what I really like about this program is that it's a 15-month comprehensive. So again, you can go backwards or you can go forwards. And that's just a huge gift. By the way, the city of Corpus Christi has how much, Maria? Their first allotment was over 9 million. I'm not sure about their second allotment.
The city, ERA 1 was 9.8 million. The second tranche that they received was 7.6. So they have a lot of money, as well to
Right.
work with. So, this is.
And
Maria.
I've spoken with the mayor and she is 100% on board with doing a big joint press conference and messaging. And so we think that this will be the opportunity of a lifetime for people who have really had suffered.
Hey, question, Maria, can you also explain, I really appreciate your explanation you gave me, but can you explain the reason, we're not going to RFPs or, with Haggerty doing the admin for the, funds, so people can know that there's gotta be a reason why we're not going for it, right?
Well, we did. So we did go out for RFPs for disaster
Right.
recovery management,
Right.
and this is considered part of disaster recovery because it is a result of COVID, because there is a COVID tied to these funds from the Treasury.
Although it's a new disaster,
Yes.
is it still open for them to continue on?
No, it's
their-
not a new disaster. This is part of emergency management, and this is part of our recovery from COVID-19. The reason that we're getting
Well, I'm
this
talking- I know- I'm just
particular
talking about this
rental
last one,
assistance
Judge.
program.
I mean, I understand all that, but I'm just talking about the last one we had, the reason why we're here we're here because of the monies, right? That we're gonna get to be able to help people with the rental and mortgage, whatever else. But that's already, is that connected to the freeze and the flooding or?
Yes, so they're hired for basically any county disaster moving forward.
Okay.
So that's why they were already kind of working on COVID, winter storm, Hurricane Hannah. And then, if the flooding events turn into a federally declared disaster, they can help us with our FEMA public assistance project.
To set up the project.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There-
so to answer your question, so we're not leaving people hanging, is that we absolutely went out for requests for proposal, and they were, and so did the city. And the city's using the same company we're using. And then the reason they're doing that is because they are an expert in the field nationally, in particular with ERAP. In fact, the software, the reason it's so important that we do work together and that we advocated so hard is because the software that they've built, ERAP, software only belongs to them. So it's nothing you can go buy or retrofit. And this will help us through the whole compliance portion of it. The only thing they won't do is issue those checks.
So I want to make it clear that, we talk about nuecescountyerap.com. It's not just a website. It's actually a really robust application management system is what they call it, where the county will be given 5 licenses. I will probably have one, but on the back end, obviously it's going to manage the application, from beginning to end until we actually do the payout. But on the back end, the county gets a lot of great information as far as not only just number of applications, we're going to know where those applications come from, down to the zip code, down to, we can break it down to commissioner precinct. We can actually know what part of, if they're at 50% of the annual median household income, we're going to have a lot of information coming from on the back end from this software program. So it's not just, a website and you put it up. It's actually, cradle to grave kind of application management system. So it's it was pretty great to see a little bit of the information that we're gonna be able to gather from that
Well,
website.
thank you very much, Maria. I just want to make sure that was out, everything, clear enough where people could understand it.
So yeah, the county, I think our next responsibility, and the judge had mentioned, we have to kind of pick a go live date, even though the website is up and running. The phone number is up and running. Again, it's bilingual. This brief, I do want to mention, Rachel in the judge's office prepared this brief using kind of some of the Treasury's guidance on this program as well as past agenda items, and I was able to meet with her yesterday to kind of update it a little. It does also include the task order proposal from Haggerty, so you can see exactly what their scope of services is, what their hourly rates are. Again, their software kind of service was built into those hourly rates and will be billed accordingly. So I think it's very reasonable. They're taking kind of a lot of responsibility off of our hands. They've already developed like an 80-page SOP on how to manage the program, and that alone is hugely helpful. It's a lot of money. We've dealt with rental and mortgage assistance programs before, but not of over $1 million. So.
Thank you.
Maria, just to make sure, we also reiterate, this is not a mortgage assistance program. However, we'll come back to you with our mortgage assistance program information. This is rental only.
Yes.
And in case you're worried or wondering about our justice of the peace and their eviction hearings, Haggerty is working with our JPs. We know our JPs have the best lists in town with regards to the cases that have been filed, and they are working with them to make sure that we can even reach out to people through our JP offices so that they can call this number. If you all have any ideas how we can better get the word out to folks, please contact our office. And Rachel is an intern in my office this summer, and I will get her contact. She's going to be heading up just the ERAP program, you know, for my side over here. But she's incredibly knowledgeable about it, and we think this is, you know, Treasury thinks this is one of the most important programs to getting our economy back in good shape. So we want to spend this money, and we do have monthly reports. They've been zero so far since the end of January. So let's start letting our residents know immediately that help is on its way. And Maria, do you believe that Friday will be the day that we can get all of this info to the commissioners?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Again,
Okay,
I have the
good.
brief. I'll come visit with you after. So the brief has
So-
great information. I think the only action item would be from the court is, again, and the judge mentioned it, is trying to find out how best to reach your residents. I know we kind of briefly talked about, and I don't want to stretch Rebecca's office too thin, but, you know, having somebody out, you know, in the rural areas that has some knowledge of how the application works, to help residents, those that can apply online or get assistance through the phone number where we can assist them. But I'll leave that up to the commissioners to decide how to.
And just to remind everybody, we are going to have some physical presence on Tuesdays and Thursdays and on Saturdays at La Retama, which is, we call it the Central Library. But it would be great to have in our rural communities, people that would be out, whether it's at our community centers or our city halls, you know, on other days. So if that is of interest to you, that's kind of what we're going to be working on over the next week. And we do have money left for billboards. We do have money left for messaging and for potential temporary workers for the next 30 days just to get the word out. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? That was just a discussion item.
Okay, well, if there are no other questions and you recommend the approval of this admin for listen to me, ERAP 1 and ERAP 2, I'd like to have a motion at this time.
So moved.
Okay, and was that a motion and a second?
Second.
Okay, great. And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Okay, great. Give us a call, let us know how we're gonna get you the official material, and then let us know what you think we need to do in your precinct, and we will get it done. Lots of money, lots of problems out there, so let's see if we can alleviate some of them. At this time, the only item remaining, commissioners, is the one that takes us to executive session. So at this time, I am giving notice that we are going to meet because it's authorized to do so by provisions of the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. And as the presiding officer, I'm publicly announcing that with the authority of Vernon's Texas Code, Sections 551, 071, 72, 73, 74, 745, 76, 86, and 87, we are going to hold executive session to consult with our attorneys, including matters relating to litigation, real property, personnel, county advisory bodies, security devices, economic negotiations, and any other matter that may be discussed in executive session. Upon completion, the Commissioners Court may come back into open session and take such actions appropriate on items discussed in executive session. For the clerk, the time is 2:40 p.m. and I'm going to gavel us out. We are off the record.
Okay, so we are back on the record, and for the clerk, the time is 3:28 p.m. We are out of executive session, and we do have a motion at this time, and I will read the motion and then ask for a second and call for discussion and then the question. The motion at this time is to waive certain available formalities, informalities, and irregularities such as an absent signature where a signature in fact appears elsewhere in the proposal However, we do not waive filing deadlines as we find those to be unfairly substantive. And I'll take a second, and then I'll have a little discussion.
Second.
Okay, multiple seconds, and the discussion is for the record, I would like to point out that during executive session and at no time before, we have not reviewed by name or number or any kind of analysis of any of the proposals that give rise to this motion regarding filing deadlines and signatures. This is strictly a conversation about an option that we have regarding available formalities that are contained within the RFP. And I'll yield to Jenny.
Yes, and I'm sorry, Judge,
Go
the
ahead.
motion did not include the identification of the RFP 3160-21. And
Thank you.
I know the court wanted that.
Yeah, thank you. And so that's the clarification. And so that RFP is named by number, and there were no identifications, just to be clear, at all. Having had a motion a second, are there any questions for Jenny at this time or any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you. Into our regular agenda, and note for the record that we have tackled all things that we have posted, and I leave only the adjournments and memory. Are there any from commissioners at this time? Commissioner Modas, do you have any adjournments, memory? Commissioner Hernandez already said he did not. Commissioner Chesney, do you have any?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I do not either. So at this time, we will adjourn, and we will see everybody, Commissioners Court, next week. Thank you. Mics can now be taken off.
3:30?
So sorry, yes, for the record, 3:30 PM.